I was walking down the street, feeling kind of neat, when the wind came out your butt and blew my wig off. Oh, it was a sight to see, my hair flying in the breeze, 'cause the wind came out your butt and blew my wig off. People started laughing, they couldn't believe their eyes as my wig flew through the sky. Oh, what a surprise. I tried to catch it, but it slipped right through my hands, 'cause the wind came out your butt and now it's somewhere in the land. Oh, wind came out your butt and blew my wig off. Baby, you drive like shit. Did you see the car that you almost hit? Now then I'll take the bus instead. Riding with you, I'm gonna end up dead. Don't ask me if I need a lift. Baby, you drive like shit. She just ran through, always stop. I ain't trying to get stopped by the cops. Baby, why the hell did I let you drive? It's a miracle that you're still alive. Don't ask me if I need a lift. Baby, you drive like shit. Whoa, 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 whoa. Look out, my girl is driving. Watch out, my girl drives like shit. Whoa, 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 whoa. My girl is driving. Watch out, my girl drives like shit. You been made over. Heard you think you're tough. Gotta let you know I will fuck you up. I whoop that ass, talking all that shit, spank that ass till you tap like a bitch. No, I ain't playing. It's time to punch face. I'm the one who brings you pain in the ring. I whoop that ass until the bell rings. Already know that I do not play. Throw a punch like I'm cutting down hay. I whoop that ass every single night. Spank that ass till they stop the fight. I'll tell you the story of a man, a radioactive tip in his hand. His hand grew 10 times his normal size to help him get his money on time. He knew if the bitch was telling a lie, which was 100% of the time. Superpowers to make a bitch listen, then get her naked with sex-ray vision. Sweep a police station in a single bound, slapping bitches down to the fucking ground. His name was famous across the land. They called him the pimp named Superhand. Oh shit, yeah, the pimp named Superhand. He had powers no other pimp had. Oh fuck yeah, the pimp named Superhand. That motherfucker was super bad. Asking for dinner ain't asking for much. You had one job and still fucked it up. Sometimes you gotta learn respect. I use my pimp hand to correct. It's called a big slap, slap. Come get your face clapped. hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? You should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
Welcome back in the building one more again. I am your host, School for Justice, here where we live, love, and laugh, and conquer police brutality. And on this evening, we are in Virginia. We have a man standing on his own front porch, being antagonized, questioned by the police for absolutely no reason, and then arrested. So let's jump on the topic. Get your popcorn, get your wine, get whatever you may need, and let's jump on the show.
Deputies Dalton Martin and Jordan Horn of the McDowell County Sheriff's Office in West Virginia approached 66-year-old Donnie Hairston and his 63-year-old wife Ventress while they were sitting on the front porch of the home they rented from former military police officer Jason Hart. Deputies asked the Hairstons about 4 alleged marijuana plants that were found in some overgrown brush at a nearby property owned by a third party. They denied any involvement. When the deputies continued to question the Hairston, walk around the property, and look through windows, they called Mr. Tart, who walked over to the Hairston's residence from his nearby home. The interaction that followed was captured on Deputy Martin's body camera.
Just because in the season that we're living in, I think it's important that I have your names.
What do you mean, man?
A lot of crazy stuff going on. And so having your name makes me feel more secure. As I said, we came here June 28th. You know, we're actually new here.
Okay.
And for the police officers in this area to come up and say, are you growing marijuana? That is preposterous to me.
Is just a question, man.
Yeah, well, I get that. And so then my only question, use your names just so it's okay in my own heart and mind. And when I say the season we're living in, you know the season we're living in.
Y'all concerned about something over here at this house?
This house?
No, that house.
Yes.
What's the problem?
Who lives there?
Mr. Ferguson. He's probably there now. He's 79.
Okay. All right. What's your name, sir?
Jason Tart.
Jason Tart.
All right, y'all. So what we got going on is this man rented the home from an actual police officer, him and his family. They're in Virginia. And the officer rose up because he sees 3 marijuana plants that's parked basically in the yard, not at their house, not on their property, not these people here in the home, but it's just out there in the ground, right? So it's on nobody's particular property, not their property, not the neighbor's property. And this is the issue that the police wants to address to them, saying, who marijuana is this? They're like, hey, man, we don't know. It's not on our property, you know? And so now this officer is intentionally antagonizing these people for absolutely no legal cause. All right, let's smash thumbs up like we always do to push the algorithm.
And what do you mean by the season we're living in, ma'am?
Sir.
What do you need? You got any questions for me?
No, I'll collect some information from you, man. Your name and date of birth and such.
What do you need my information for?
You own these 2 homes, correct?
What
Okay,
these homes got to do with that?
These 2 homes is near that marijuana grow, so I'd just like to have your name.
You know how many people go through here?
I understand.
That's not going to do you one bit of good.
Okay. Well, sir, I'm going to need your name and date of birth, and I have that.
Comfortable giving you.
All right, so like the man just said, what does that have to do with my 2 properties? Actually, he owns both the homes, that house there and the house next door. But the marijuana plants that's out there just on open ground that nobody necessarily owns the property, or at least he doesn't own that property. These people don't own that property, right? So what does that have to do with me? Now you're asking for a name, date of birth, and personal information, which is not what legally required. If you want to know who owns the marijuana plants, do your job and do the proper legal investigation. So you're a rookie, 101 with zero training. All right, share your thoughts as we dive on into today's topic.
My name and date of birth.
Okay, well, this is a criminal investigation. You own these two homes, so by law, you do have to give me your name and date of birth, sir.
If he gives you a reason, yes, you do.
Reason for what?
Because of the marijuana grow.
It's not on my property.
Okay, well, again, I have reason to believe that these two homes here that you own is related to that marijuana grow. So you have to give me your name and date of birth by law.
The deputies informed Mr. Tart that he is required by law to give his name and date of birth. West Virginia does not have a separate stop and identify statute that allows officers to arrest individuals for failing to identify themselves in certain situations. Rather, officers often use the state's obstruction statute to arrest individuals who refuse to identify themselves when they are required to do so. According to section 61-5-17 of the West Virginia Code, quote, a person who by threats, menaces, acts, or otherwise forcibly or illegally hinders or obstructs or attempts to hinder or obstruct a law enforcement officer acting in his or her official capacity is guilty of a misdemeanor.
All right, so we just saw that, right? We just saw it. According to West Virginia state law, a person who, I'm going to repeat what the narrative just said, who threats, menaces, acts, or otherwise forcibly or illegally hinders or obstructs or attempts to hinder or obstruct, right?
Obstructs or attempts to hinder or obstruct a law enforcement officer.
A law enforcement officer, official, acting in his or her officially capacity is guilty of a misdemeanor. Ain't none of that going on. Absolutely zero cause of that is going on right now in the moment. So, man, if you did your homework, you would realize that these people rented the property in the house from a police officer. And so, I mean, do your homework, backtrack, let's trace back. Maybe it's him that got the marijuana out there on an unknown property, right? So share your thoughts in the chat and we'll dialogue about it, right? We'll do dialogue and commentary like we always do. Appreciate your support.
Acting in his or her official capacity is guilty of a misdemeanor. In the 2003 case of State versus Serinsky, the Supreme Court of Appeals of West Virginia held that, quote, refusal to identify oneself to a law enforcement officer does not, standing alone, form the basis for a charge of obstructing a law enforcement officer in performing official duties. However, the court then clarified that, quote, the charge of obstructing an officer may be substantiated when a citizen does not supply identification when required to do so by express statutory direction, or when the refusal occurs after a law enforcement officer has communicated the reason why the citizen's name is being sought in relation to the officer's official duties. While the deputies did communicate a reason for requesting Mr. Tart's name by claiming that they needed it due to the proximity of the properties he owned to the alleged marijuana plants, the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals, which has jurisdiction over West Virginia, determined in the 2021 case of Wingate versus Fulford that the application of a local stop and identify ordinance was unconstitutional, quote, when applied outside the context of a valid investigatory stop, and that, quote, a valid investigatory stop supported by Terry-level suspicion is a constitutional prerequisite to enforcing stop and identify statutes. Applying this reasoning, it is likely that a court would find that the deputies could not constitutionally arrest Mr. Tart for refusing to identify himself in this situation, although the case law establishing this was not issued until after this incident occurred. It should also be noted that
So we just heard what the narrator said. That is not legally required. You don't even have probable cause to step to him at his house. He on his own property, his own front porch. The marijuana, the 3 plants, however much amount is being grown, is not on his property. So why are you even addressing him? Let's start there.
Hart did provide his name when the deputies first asked, and because the case law, likewise, does not authorize an arrest for refusing to provide a date of birth, it is likely that a court would conclude that Mr. Tart's conduct did not rise to the level of obstruction.
Go get a pen and piece of paper.
Reason to believe what? Why? Because these houses are here. Do you understand that there's a lot of traffic going through here?
Since we've lived here, people come up here and they park there and we don't know where the hell they go. And then they come back out.
I don't have a problem giving you my information. I'm just
Okay, well,
trying
that's
to
all I need.
understand, but
It doesn't have to be an argument. I mean, just give me your name and date of birth, dude. It's easy.
It's not easy. My property has nothing to do with what you found.
Okay. Well, we're just making sure of that.
And then my thing is, why do you keep asking him that when the guy really already told you his name? That's all you need. But again, it is not legally required. You're a goon. You're out here being somebody's do boy, a rookie. So how did we get sworn into duty? You tell me, bro, because it's not adding up.
Scared me. I mean,
Scared you?
Who says that? Who
By asking you a question?
who comes up and asks? That's crazy.
And it scared you?
I'm trying to understand what
It's
these-
So let's just rehear what the lady just said to him. Okay, because he's like, I'm asking you a question and it's scaring you. Look at your approach, buddy. You're a goon.
Asking you a question?
Who comes up and asks? That's crazy.
And it scared you?
I'm trying to understand what
It
these
scared you
people
by me
have
asking
to
you a
do.
question.
Growing marijuana?
And that's a question. To say somebody scared you because they asked you a question is ridiculous.
That's preposterous.
Go ahead and give me your name, sir.
Wait.
First name.
It's ridiculous to you, sir.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
it's not ridiculous.
Your first name.
I'm not giving you my information.
Sir, if you refuse to give me your information, I'm going to arrest you.
That's fine.
What? So that's what you're out there for, to make up a bogus arrest, do boy. Okay, you don't know anything about the law, but you're wearing the badge. And so again, do your research, and maybe it's your fellow officer that planted the herb out there, because that's who owns the property. So something is not adding up to me. Something in the milk ain't clean about this whole little scenario. And now you are harassing these people, antagonizing these people, and yes, making them nervous. And as the lady stated, scaring them. This is, as she say, preposterous. So y'all share your thoughts. I mean, what do you see? Should this man be required by law to give his name and information to the officer? Is that not abiding, in compliance and abiding by the laws? And can he be arrested? Because according to what we just read, he has no obligation. He's not violating no laws. He's not required to give his name or info. And therefore, the officer has no need to arrest.
My property has nothing to do with any marijuana whatsoever. You're going to arrest me if I don't give you my name and date of birth.
It's obstructing an officer.
How?
Because you're hindering me from doing my job. You're hindering
How
me
am
from
I hindering you from doing
No,
your job?
doing your job is going down to the station and starting a proper investigation. It's getting things in motions and doing your job, investigating and putting it on paper, putting it in writing, and building up to have a reason to go search the property. It's called a what? Search warrant. Confiscate the product, the items, the marijuana, and find out who it belongs to or how it got there. That's the proper way. But you're doing it your way because you're a goon, and it's going to cost you in the end, buddy. Share your thoughts as we continue to dialogue.
If it's not on my property,
Last chance to give me your name and date of birth, sir.
how am I hindering you?
Sir, last chance to give me your name and date of birth.
How am I hindering you?
Place your hands behind your back. Place your hands behind your back. Are you going to give me your name and date of birth?
Take me to jail. You're right. I'm hindering you from doing your job. Please.
I'll see if I can find you my name first.
No, I'm hindering you from doing your job.
Really going out off the
Yeah, this is how you guys.
This is bad.
This is,
112 control.
this is how you operate.
This is a wrap.
I'm hindering you from doing your
That's
job.
why I needed their.
Y'all need to go inside. Again, you two go inside. You go inside.
Now you want to tell them what to do at their own house. That's their house. They live there. You can't make nobody go inside their door. You don't pay no rent up in there, dude. So now you done got beside yourself and you want to command the other family members to go in the house because they recording, you're doing your job totally out of compliance, in error, and violating these people's constitutional rights. All right. If you agree, share your thoughts. If you disagree, put it in the chat.
Go inside. Go inside. No, go inside as of right now.
Tell me why.
Go inside.
What are you doing?
Step off
man?
the porch. Step off the porch.
I'll step off.
Go inside.
What are you doing? This is unnecessary for
Sir,
you to be
go
doing.
inside.
He's standing on his own porch.
Go inside.
Don't come in my house.
Go inside. Step back. Go inside.
Look, that's completely uncalled for.
When Mr. Hairston starts filming the interaction between the deputies and Mr. Tart, Deputy Martin forces the Hairstons into their home, pushing Mr. Hairston into his doorway and closing the door behind him, effectively preventing him from continuing to record the encounter. While many federal circuits have acknowledged that the First Amendment protects the right to film the police and the performance of their duties, the Fourth Circuit, which includes West Virginia, has not. In the 2009 case of Shemeski versus Hauk, the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals held that an individual's First Amendment right to record police activities on public property was not clearly established in the circuit. However, because the Shemeski decision did not weigh in on whether such a right existed, the state of the law regarding the right to film the police in the Fourth Circuit has remained unclear. In the 2021 case of Hulbert versus Pope, a U.S. district...
Yeah, but they're at their own house. Help me out, narrator. They at a home. And if you roll up on my door and I choose to pull out my cam, or I got a door cam, yeah, you're going to be recorded. I don't care who you is. I have that right. I'm the owner. I'm the tenant. This is my house. Right? So he sounds like an idiot. You know, these are grown people. These are adults. And evidently, you ain't one because you're not acting like an adult. You on some dude boy shit. That's what we see. Right? Some dude boy shit going on with you. How can you be an officer and you yourself don't even know the laws, nor are you abiding by it? All right. So tell me what you think, and we're going to continue to do our commentary.
Court denied qualified immunity to an officer who arrested two individuals in February of 2018 for recording the police on the public sidewalk in front of the Maryland State House. Although parties typically cannot file an appeal until the case has been completely resolved in the lower court, the defendant filed what is known as an interlocutory appeal under Section 1292 of Title 28 of the U.S. Code, which states that, quote, when a district judge, in making in a civil action an order not otherwise appealable, shall be of the opinion that such order involves a controlling question of law as to which there is substantial ground for difference of opinion, and that an immediate appeal from the order may materially advance the ultimate termination of the litigation, he shall so state in writing in such order. The Court of Appeals, which would have jurisdiction of an appeal of such action, may thereupon, in its discretion, permit an appeal to be taken from such order. The defendant's interlocutory appeal to the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals argued that the arrest was proper and that video and audio recording of the police was not a so-called clearly established First Amendment right. As of the date of writing this episode, this case is still pending. But when the Fourth Circuit issues a decision, it will hopefully clarify whether the circuit recognizes the right to film the police and the performance of their duties. Until this decision is released, it is difficult to predict how...
Listen, that shouldn't even be an issue about recording, but, you know, we know today that is definitely affirmed by law.
On whether Deputy Martin violated Mr. Hairston's First Amendment rights by forcing him to stop filming, and if such a right was clearly established at the time of this encounter.
It's so easy to become a podcaster with Riverside. First, go to Riverside and open an account. When you're ready,
you skip the ad.
Come on.
Look, man, don't listen.
Sir,
You don't have to listen,
You're
man.
being recorded.
Listen. Listen. I can walk.
Okay,
without
well,
you
walk.
putting your damn hands on me.
Walk
You
to the
understand?
vehicle.
I have not broken the law.
Walk to the
At
vehicle.
all.
Well, walk to the vehicle,
Don't
sir.
put
You're
your
being
damn
recorded.
hands on me. I give
Sir.
you no reason to touch me.
I'm going to arrest you then. Place your hands behind your back.
Uncalled for.
Place your hands behind your back.
Put your hand behind
Place your hands behind your back.
Listen.
Just relax, okay?
Listen. You
Relax.
Place your hands behind your back. Please place your hands behind your back.
My hand is behind my.
Place your
It
hands
only
behind-
takes one of you.
Place your hands.
Look, let him do it. All right. Take your hands off me.
That's fine. Okay.
Let him do it.
Let's walk this way.
And so why did this man have to tell you, first of all, you're not doing your job. It's an illegal arrest. But then you wanted to gang up on him. You and your whole goons and the whole crew. He said, why take all y'all? it's three of y'all trying to run up on me. He said, just one of you all. He had to tell you what to do, rookie. All right, let him do it and just handcuff me. Real simple. Now, you want to cause a whole scene and some drama and action because that's what you're out there for. To meet quota, but it's not going to work. Not this time and not ever. All right, so just tell me what y'all see, man. Are they violating these people's rights? We're in Virginia tonight on this evening. They have their own home and their own property, and they're talking about some marijuana that's grown across the street or on down the block. That has nothing to do with them. It's not their property or anything of that nature. It's not in their home. It's not at their house. So what they got to do with me, right? This is ridiculous. All right, so let's share your thoughts.
Deputy Martin initiates an arrest against Mr. Tart on the porch by ordering him to place his hands behind his back. He then orders him to step down, and Deputy Horn handcuffs and arrests him in the driveway area immediately in front of the home. In general, the Supreme Court has long recognized that the land immediately surrounding and associated with the home, known as the curtilage, is considered part of the home itself for Fourth Amendment purposes. The court held in the 2021 case of Longa versus California that without other exigent circumstances, the pursuit of a fleeing misdemeanor suspect does not justify an officer's warrantless entry into a home or its curtilage. Further, in the 2018 case of Collins versus Virginia, the court concluded that, quote, when a law enforcement officer physically intrudes on the curtilage to gather evidence, a search within the meaning of the Fourth Amendment has occurred. Such conduct, thus, is presumptively unreasonable absent a warrant. Based on this precedent, it would seem that officers cannot arrest an individual in the curtilage of their home absent exigent circumstances justifying the intrusion. However, in the 1976 case of United States versus Watson, the Supreme Court held that the warrantless arrest of an individual in a public place upon probable cause did not violate the Fourth Amendment. And later that year, the court decided in the case of United States versus Santana that the front door of an individual's home was considered a so-called public place for the purposes of the Fourth Amendment. In reaching this conclusion, the court reasoned that, quote, while it may be true that under the law of property, the threshold of one's dwelling is private, as is the yard surrounding the house, it is clear that under the cases interpreting the Fourth Amendment, Santana was in a public place. What a person knowingly exposes to the public, even in his own house or office, is not a subject of Fourth Amendment protection. Relying heavily on this case, in the 2003 case of United States versus Hagerman, the United States District Court in the Western District of Virginia, which is part of the Fourth Circuit, upheld the warrantless arrest of an individual on his lawn when an officer told him to come down from his porch and arrested him once he came into the yard. Citing the Santana decision, the court determined that because the defendant emerged from his home onto the porch voluntarily and the officer, without drawing a weapon, asked him to come down to the lawn, the warrantless arrest was valid. Notably, the Santana and Hagerman cases were both decided well before Longa versus California and Collins versus Virginia. So it is possible that a court would conclude that Mr. Tart could not be constitutionally arrested without a warrant on the porch or the yard of his property based on this precedent. However, because the Longa case involved an entry to a garage rather than a yard or porch, and the Collins case involved a search rather than a seizure, it is also possible that a court would distinguish this situation from those decisions and hold that the location of Mr. Tart's arrest did not violate the Fourth Amendment.
Ten-4, he owns two properties right here on this Baptist Drive road. We located a marijuana grow, probably not 100 foot, 50 foot from this last property of his, and he just won't give us his name, date of birth. Black now.
After placing Mr. Tart in the back of the
So
police
we just heard that, right? Let's start at the top. Number one, your buddy, your fellow goon owns that property. All right. We get the beginning of the narrative of the story, of the context of the storyline. The police officer owns that, though both of those houses. They are renting from the police officer, which more than likely, again, is his fellow partner, his fellow goon. Then you're gonna ask the question: is he a black man or a white man? Oh, so we already see what time it is. What difference does it make? So, like I said, something in the milk ain't clean, and it sounds more like, to me, looking more like a setup. All right, so what do you see? What do you think is going on according to our state laws, we're in Virginia on tonight.
Cruiser and radioing in his arrest, Deputy Martin gathered the alleged marijuana plants and placed them in the trunk of the vehicle, presumably to take to the station as evidence. Mr. Tart was charged with obstruction of a law enforcement officer, but the case was dismissed by the prosecuting attorney on October 28, 2020, because Deputy Martin failed to appear in court. On August 9, 2022, Mr. Tart and the Hairstons filed a federal lawsuit against the deputies, and as of the date of writing this episode, the case is still pending. Overall, Deputy Martin...
All right, y'all. So, as I always say, we're here to bring enlightenment. And this is just ridiculous. It was senseless. It didn't make, I mean, you should have better things to do, sir. And properly impede your investigation. That's how that should occur. And again, I'm your host, Scoop for Justice. And I say, what do you think about the scenario of the storyline? Should he have been required to give his information? According to our laws, we see that that's bogus, right? It was not required to do so. And he failed. He filed a federal lawsuit. You know why the officer didn't show up to court? Because he knew it was bogus and it was going to get thrown out and it was all nonsense. So I'm here as your host, Scoop for Justice, to speak truth to power. And again, we will continue to live, love, laugh, and rise above the occasion. And until next time, fam, peace.